Okay, welcome everybody. I am so super excited to have you here today, and I have got such a big treat for you. So some of you know me because I've had lessons with you before. Some of you I'm only meeting today, so I'm excited to see the ones I know, and I'm just as excited to see the ones I don't know. So some of you used to call me Mrs. Bester, but today you get a free pass. And you get to call me Candace, just Candace. You don't even have to call me Teacher Candace. Okay, we're going to try to make this not very formal. We want to make it fun, and it's not school time anymore, so we can pretend we're not at school. No teachers here, just Candace. Deal? Okay, so I am a mommy. I have 3 little children. Well, 3 children, some aren't so little. And I was also a teacher for a very, 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 very long time. Longer than any of you have even been alive. So I want you, I'm going to call your name, and I want you to unmute, and I want you to just tell me your name. And if you're up for it, and if you're feeling a little bit brave, I want you to tell me why you think you're here today. Okay, so Caleb, are you going to unmute first, love? Tell us your name.
Caleb.
And why do you think you're here today, Caleb?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, well, I love your honesty. And that's even so cool because it means you're going to find out in a minute. Are you excited?
Yes.
Awesome. Right, Amara, you are next. Unmute for me. Hello.
Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so tell us your name and tell me why you think you're here.
I'm Amara, and I think I am here.
Also not 100% sure.
No.
Okay. Guys, can you give me 1 second? They're busy knocking on my door because they want to play with the kids. I need to quickly tell them that I'm busy, okay? Give me 1 second.
Mute yourself.
Guys, I'm busy. The kids aren't here, see? Oh, sorry, my children aren't here. They're not here. I'm busy working, okay? Oh my goodness. Okay, awesome. Welcome, Amara, and thank you, Caleb. Right, Isabella, you can unmute, tell us your name, and tell me why you think you're here.
My name is Isabella, and I'm not sure why I'm here.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Liva, you next. You're going to unmute? You don't want to. That's fine. No problem. You don't have to. Liva, you don't have to, baby. Okay. You can just watch. Right, so now, you next.
Hi, my name is Sonal, and why I think I'm here is to learn more.
Good girl. You're totally on the right track. Do you think it's learning like you learn at school? Do you think we're here to learn to read and write and do maths? No. I think you might have a clue. Do you want to just try and guess? No. Okay, no problem. Right. Sanam, do you want to have a turn, baby? Okay, tell me your name.
My name is Sanam,
Okay, and why do you think you're here?
because I'm here to learn.
Good girl. Okay, very nice. Right, Rhett and Finn, you guys are up next. Do you want to unmute for me? And let's have Finn first. Finn, can you tell me why you think you introduce yourself and tell me why you think you're here?
My name is Finn, and I really don't know why I'm here. I asked my mom, she said she doesn't know either.
No,
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love the honesty. And you, Rhett?
My name is Rex, and I think that we're doing maths because I love maths.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Rach and Finn. Okay, Gabby, do you want to go next, love?
Yes. My name's Gabby, and I think I'm here to learn about being brave.
Good girl. You're on the right track. Hannah, do you want to have a turn?
Okay.
Okay, tell me your name.
My name is Hannah, and I think I'm here because my mom said that I'm here because I had to learn how to be stronger when something is difficult.
Good girl. Oh, you guys are getting closer and closer and closer. Good girl. Emma, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself and tell me why you think you're here?
Hi, my name is Emma, and I think I'm here so that I know what to do when something doesn't go my way.
Awesome. Well done. You are very, 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 very smart. Yeah, Liasa, are you able to unmute and speak at least, love, even if your camera's not on? Do you want to speak?
Hello, my name is... I don't know why I'm here.
Okay. Okay, awesome. You just came because you knew that I was on your head. Okay, Isabella, why do you think you've already told us. Isabella's already had a turn, right? Guys, I want you to do a quick shake of the hands. Shake your hands. And while you're shaking your hands, you're going to see if you can do a little bit of a neck shake. Okay, hands on laps. And I want you to take a very deep breath in through your nose and out as far as you can go. And in as deep as you can go. And out as far as you can go. And one last time. And as far as you can go out. Let's see. Wow. Thank goodness you're not in front of me because you would have blown me over like the house of sticks. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you now why we're here. Okay, so some of you don't know, some of you know a little bit, but I'm about to tell you the real reason. I am going to teach you how to have something called grit, okay? Who knows what that big word means? If I say to you, you've got grit, okay, Finn, you can go, love. Unmute, tell me what grit means.
It means when you're doing something and you don't give up, you just keep on doing it.
Oh, you're smart. Well done. It teaches you how to not give up. And does anyone else want to have a shot? Do you want to try and see what you think grit means? Do you think you know? Okay. Grit, yes, Rit. Yes, Rit. Sorry.
I think that to give what do you call it? To be dry. Dry.
To try. Good. You all guys are very, very on the right track. Right. I'm going to tell you that grit means that you are strong on the inside. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to teach you how to do sit-ups and make your stomach muscles strong. That's not what we're doing today, thank goodness. Today I'm going to teach you something so powerful that no matter what happens, you can still be happy. Okay, so can you imagine? I want you to say this to me. I want you to repeat after me. Everybody, you don't have to unmute, but I want you to say, no matter what happens, say it. Even if you're not, if you're unmuted, it doesn't matter. Say, no matter what happens,
No matter what happens,
I can still be happy.
I can still be happy.
Okay, now it sounds to me like I'm trying to make you into robots, and some of you might be thinking this teacher is a little bit crazy. Oh, she's not a teacher today. She's just somebody who's busy giving you something that's going to help you. So who thinks that what I said was true? If you think that no matter what happens, you can still be happy, then you can put your thumb up like this in front of the screen. But if you think that I'm a little bit cuckoos and that there are going to be things and times that you can't be happy, then I want you to do this in front of the screen. There's no right or wrong, guys. Whatever you think. If you think that sometimes you're going to be really unhappy, things are going to, on the outside are going to make you unhappy, okay. Wow, okay. So some of you say, most of you say yes, and some of you say no. Okay. I'm now going to share my screen. Okay. I'm just going to say, share screen. And let's see. Let's hope I can see you guys. Video panel. There we go. Somebody is not on mute. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen for you, and I'm going to show you a little presentation. But before I do this, I know that I have to disable so that nobody can draw on my screen. You can see somebody's done this before. Somebody called me. Okay, there we go. And slideshow. Okay, right. So remember, we're speaking about how you can be happy no matter what happens. Now I'm going to test you, and I'm going to see. What if, look at the screen, everybody. What if somebody comes along and calls you the worst names and treats you really, really shockingly? Do you think you could be happy with that? But you just told me no matter what happens, you can be happy. So now we're going to start to think, oh, maybe that's not so true what I said. What if you're so excited to tell your teacher something in class, but she doesn't ask you. You put your hand up and you put your hand up and you put your hand up, but she asks everybody else. Do you think you could still be happy? Now I'm getting you to think, what if your mommy or your daddy or your brother or your sister or your teacher are having what I call a really gloomy gray day? That means they wake up and they're a little bit grumpy. What if the people around you are very grumpy? Can you still be happy? Okay. So now that I've got you to think about this, remember I said to you guys, I'm here to teach you how to be strong inside no matter what happens on the outside. Okay. So now I'm going to show you something quickly. Let's see who's sitting like a star, staring at the screen, sitting still. Oh, these children know how to behave on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to now tell you how. I'm going to tell you how you can be happy even when somebody is mean to you. I'm going to tell you how you can be happy even when somebody else around you isn't happy. Okay? So in that moment that something happens, okay, and it makes you feel one of the horrible feelings. You can tell me what are some of the feelings that aren't nice to feel? What are some of the feelings that are not nice to feel? Let's see. Hey, Gabby, you can unmute.
Angry and sad.
Good. It doesn't feel nice to feel angry. Good girl. And it really doesn't feel nice to feel sad. What are the other feelings that you could think of that aren't very nice feelings? Mara?
To feel scared or frightened.
Good girl. Scared or frightened. I like that. Hannah? It's okay. There we go.
Being worried or thinking something is too difficult for you.
Good girl, Hannah. Being worried or thinking something is too difficult for you. Good girl. So now, what else are the horrible feelings that we could feel?
Depressed. Anxiety.
Good. Or depressed or down or just, I just sometimes call it like, I just feel blur. That's quite a nice name for it, eh? Blur. Is there anything else? Okay. Who's felt that feeling of irritated? I'm so irritated right now because something isn't happening and I wish it would happen. Yes, that's another feeling that doesn't feel very nice. So we spoke about angry, we spoke about sad, we spoke about scared and worried, and we also spoke about irritated. Okay, so when you feel that feeling in your body, I want you to remember this picture on the screen because it's as if you have a giant alarm clock inside of you going, I need you to hear something, wake up. And it's going, and how do you know it's doing that? Because you feel horrible. So when you feel horrible, the alarm is going off. Okay, guys, you don't really have an alarm inside of you, by the way. Nobody swallowed an alarm and nobody has an alarm inside of you. But I'm trying to show you that this is your body's way of saying something isn't right in my body. Right now, I don't feel happy. And then you need to remember that this is the alarm clock. And then I'm now going to teach you what to do when that alarm clock goes off. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so the first thing you're going to ask yourself is, right now, what can I control and what is not in my control? Okay, so in that moment, you've got to ask yourself two questions. Who can tell me what the two questions are? Okay, so now tell me what one of the questions are.
We can't control other people. We can control yourself.
Okay. So now I want you to just tell me what's the one question you need to ask when that alarm clock is going off because you're feeling yucky in your body. What is the one thing you can control what is the one question you need to ask? You need to ask yourself. What is in my control and what is not in my control? Okay, who wants to remind me what those two questions are? Caleb, remind me.
I put my hand up so I didn't say it.
Okay, do you want to try? Do you want to say it?
Yes.
Okay.
What is not in my control and what is in my control.
Good boy. Okay, so we're going to go back a step, guys. I asked you and I said to you, I told you today I'm going to teach you how to be happy no matter what. Okay. And then I told you that whenever you have a horrible feeling, that it is like there is a giant alarm clock saying, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. You need to ask yourself two questions. And the two questions are, what is in my control and what is not in my control? Okay. So when you focus on the things that are in your control, it makes you stronger and happier and all the good feelings. When you focus on the things that are not in your control, it makes you weaker, it makes you powerless, and it makes you feel all the horrible feelings. So let me give you an example. Okay, I'm driving along in my car and a taxi driver decides not to look where he's going and he swerves in front of me and I have to slam on brakes. In that moment, I feel angry. So that's the alarm clock going. And now I need to say to myself, what is in my control? What is not in my control? And then I need to answer my own questions. Okay. So what is in my control when the taxi driver swerves in front of me? Somebody tell me what is not in my control when the taxi driver swerves in front of me. Amara.
The taxi is not in your control.
Good girl. There is nothing about that taxi that I could control. Nothing that I could do to control it. Good girl. And Hannah, can you tell me what is in my control?
What is in your control is to not be angry and to try and look and see if there's a car coming through when it's not supposed to come through.
You're such a smart girl. You guys are all so smart. I think you don't even have to go back to school. You're too smart for school. So don't tell your parents I said that. Okay, so in that moment, I couldn't control the taxi driver, but I could control how I responded. And if I decided to get so mad and freak and shout and let it upset the rest of my day, that would give me all those uncomfortable, horrible feelings and would actually make me really weak. But if I decided to take a deep breath, this is not in my control. Thank goodness I didn't have an accident. And I just go, boink, let it go. Then suddenly I feel good. So I feel strong and I have the good feelings in my body. Okay. So in the moment when somebody is mean to you, somebody comes up to you and says, you are so mean. In that moment, tell me what is not in your control. Caleb?
You cannot control the person and how they're acting to you.
Excellent. But what can you control? Good boy. Emma, do you want to tell me what you can control if somebody comes to you and treats you really badly?
Yeah.
Okay, Emma, if somebody comes to you and treats you badly, you can't control the person, but what can you do? Can you tell me what you can do in that moment?
Maybe you can control your feelings and yourself and just let it slide.
Okay, good girl. Well done. So guys, what is in your control is you are going to teach people how to treat you. Okay? So that means if you are kind to people, they'll be kind to you. But if they're mean to you and you mean back to them, okay, then you're just creating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that's how they start wars between countries, because everybody's just trying to be the meaner one. But you can say, how you are treating me is not okay. You can use your words. Okay? Because they need to know that you're actually not going to take it, but you can say it in a calm voice and you can use your words and say, that's not okay, and then you can let it go. But that's still in your control and that's still a choice. Okay, so what's not in your control? Oh, sorry, we already did that one. Okay, in that moment, when you have to be really, really patient, what is not in your control? Gabby.
The teacher.
Good girl.
The teacher talks.
Good. The teacher calling your name is totally not in your control. If she never ever calls your name, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So your alarm clock goes off, you start getting irritated, and you remind yourself, what is not in my control is my teacher. But what is in your control? Guys, who wants to have a go? What is in your control? Amara?
how you react to it.
Good girl. And do you know what I used to teach my kids in my class? I used to say to them, when something feels very, very difficult, instead of saying, oh, this is so difficult, I used to teach them to say to themselves, what am I learning? What am I learning right now? Okay, can somebody tell me, in that moment when you're waiting for the teacher to call your name and she doesn't call your name, what are you learning in that moment? Hannah?
To be patient and wait your turn.
Good girl. Good girl. To be patient and wait your turn. And I'll never forget, I have to tell you the coolest story. I had a little girl in my class once and she was putting up her hand and she was putting up her hand and she was putting up her hand. And I could see she was putting up her hand. And I so badly wanted to ask her, but then there was somebody else who put their hand up before her. And you know what she said? She just calmly put her hand down and she went, right now, I am learning patience. And how different does that feel to, oh, why does my teacher not choose me? I hate it. She never sees me. I feel like she doesn't notice me. Instead, she just went, breathe. Right now, I'm learning patience. So when you remember that, when something is difficult, what are you going to say to yourself? When something is difficult, what are you going to say to yourself? Isabella, do you want to try, love? You haven't answered.
Not yet.
Okay, your signal isn't great. Hey, that's why you're not answering. Does somebody want to tell me what happens when something's difficult? What do you need to remind yourself? See who's listening. Okay, Hannah, you can have a 10 again. You're the only one with your hand up.
So,
When something's difficult,
when something's difficult, I'm learning something.
good girl. So you need to say, what am I learning? What am I learning?
What am I learning?
Yes, good girl. So sometimes the work is very difficult and you notice it's difficult and then you say to yourself, what am I learning? I'm learning to keep on trying until I don't give up. Okay, we've already done that one. Okay, so this is a lovely one. I love this one. This one I'm going to also tell you a little story about. If somebody around you is in a really grumpy mood and you notice that they are snappy and they are grumpy and you can see on their face they're actually just having a really, really tough day, what is not in your control? Caleb?
What's not in your control is how they feel.
Good girl, good boy, sorry. And what is in your control? What is in your control when somebody is in a grumpy mood? Isabella, do you want to try that?
Yes, stay healthy and help the person out and make them have a day.
You can try and pick them up and help them to have a better day. Good girl. That's really nice. That will make you feel good. Okay, so what is not in your control is how they are feeling. But what is in your control is for you to just say, I can see you're not feeling very happy today. Is there anything I can do? And if there's nothing that you can do, then you've got to still choose to be happy even though they're unhappy. Because remember, just because they're not having a good day doesn't mean that you can't have a good day. Now, I learned that the hard way. I always used to think that if the people around me were grumpy, it used to make me so unhappy. And then one day I realized, hey, I'm my own person. I don't need to have the same feelings as them. When I'm angry, they can be happy. And when they're angry, I can be happy. We're not stuck together like glue. We don't need the same emotions. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to ask you to think of something and then I'm going to ask you to please tell me something. Stop share. I want you to think about something that has happened before that was either a little bit challenging or something that made you have one of those alarm clock feelings. Remember? Frustrated, irritated, angry, all those horrible feelings. Think about it, okay? Now when you've thought of something that had an alarm clock feeling in your body, now I want you to tell me, if you think back to that situation, what was in your control and what was not in your control. Who wants to go first? Hannah.
So today I was making. So I do a lot of art, and I was making something. I was making like little puppets for my brothers and me, and I only had girl puppets, little cardboard things, with girl drawings on them, and I didn't have a boy one, so I used one. So I tried to turn one of my girl ones into a boy one, but it was really hard, and I thought I would never do it.
Okay.
But then I kept on trying.
Good girl. So you were learning how to not give up, and that means grit. You had grit. And then did you get it right?
Yes.
Oh. And isn't it a lovely feeling when you carry on trying and then you get it right? If it's easy, it doesn't feel great when you get it right. But when you push and you push and you push and you push until you get it right, the feeling at the end is even more awesome. Am I right? Yeah, good girl. Thank you, Hannah, for sharing. Caleb, I want you to tell me about something that gave you an alarm clock feeling and what was in your control and what was not in your control.
So in my class, I always put my hand up, but my classmates always, and I never get chosen. And eventually what I want to say gets said.
Okay, did that happen today? Did you go to school today, Caleb?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that feeling. So in that moment, when you know you want to say something so badly and then somebody else says it before you, what is in your control and what is not in your control?
Now my control is who my teacher chooses. And if my classmates say the same thing I say, and what's in my control, I be patient.
Good boy. Do you know what I used to say to myself, Caleb, which really helps, is I used to say to myself, oh my goodness, they read my mind. They took my thoughts out of my head and they put them in their heads and they said what I was going to say. Then I used to have a little giggle. And that made me feel a bit better about the fact that they said my words before me. So will you try that the next time they say something before you and you wanted to say it? Good boy, that was beautiful, Caleb. Right, who wants to go next? Think about something. Yes, Finn.
When I was at school yesterday, well, not yesterday, last week Thursday, me and my friends, we were playing soccer, and there's this one boy, his name is Matteo. He's very good at soccer, and he was in the goals, and I couldn't score, and he was very good, and I kept on trying to score, but it was very hard. But then eventually I just scored.
Wow. So in that moment, weren't you getting the ball? What was making you have an alarm clock feeling?
I was a little bit mad because I wasn't scoring and I had kicked the ball a lot of times.
Okay, so you kept trying and it wasn't scoring and it kept trying and it wasn't scoring. So what was not in your control was the fact that it wasn't going in, hey? And what was in your control?
That I could keep on trying.
Good boy. And did you go all the way and then you did score, you said, eh?
Yes.
And that feeling, how did it feel when you scored?
It felt very good.
It felt amazing. Good boy. Well done. Okay, Red.
And did you know that also when you kick the ball, it got this going because other soccer players can come and hit the ball. It's not so easy to kick the ball into the goal.
Absolutely. So when you do get it, then you need to say, well done, me. And when you don't, you just keep trying. Good boy. Nice one. Emma, do you want to tell me about something that gave you an alarm clock feeling?
Yes, so I have 2 stories, but they are pretty quick. The
That's
first
okay.
story was I was playing netball with my friends, but the game wouldn't begin, so that irritated me mostly. I learned to start being very patient and wait for the game to start. And my birthday was 2 weeks ago, 29th of March, but I celebrated it on the Sunday with my friends. There was this one friend, Masana. Masana was sad because her brother was suffering. He was stressed. And then all of a sudden she became pretty happy. And I learned the same thing you learned, that if someone is not happy, it doesn't mean you must not be happy.
I can't believe how much you've learned, hey? And that was even before you found grit. You already had it inside you. Well done, Emma. Oh, Caleb, I can see you really dying to tell me something. Yes, my angel. I love I love the way you
I have
participate.
another one.
Okay,
I have another one.
go for it.
So today at PE, I was playing soccer. I was the goalkeeper for pretty much the whole entire thing. Then my friends saw that I was not having fun in the game because the ball was not near me. It was on the other side. So he asked somebody else if he can take my position, so I can have some fun also.
Okay, and then what was in your control and what was not in your control?
I was not in control. Was not in control. Was the ball cannot come to me. I was in my control. I can have fun.
Well done. And that's a choice, hey, boy? It really is a choice. You can choose if you're going to have fun or not. Okay, Gabby. And then after Gabby, Hannah.
Once when I was trying the big slide, I thought I could do it, but I couldn't. It was very high.
Okay. And what was in your control and what wasn't in your control, Gabs?
What was not in my control was
How the slide was, how scary the slide was. That wasn't in your control, hey?
that wasn't.
And what was in your control?
That I tried.
Good girl. That you at least tried, hey? And you give yourself a pat on the back for at least trying. Okay, Hannah?
So, at school in my class, there's this noise child called Nadab, and he makes like a lot of noise, and I'm very sensitive to loud noise, even though I love to sing, and it always gave me like a headache, so I tried to not listen, and I learned how to not listen to loud noisy stuff.
Okay. That's a tricky one, eh? That's a very tricky one, especially if you are sensitive to loud noises and there are loud noises around you. And sometimes you might need to just remove yourself from the situation, eh? Like if it's very bad, you go to ask your teacher if you can go to the bathroom or something so that you can have a little bit of a break. Because that is in your control, but that child making a noise is really not in your control. You're right. Yes?
And one time, because it was one time, and because
when it just started making the loud noise, every afternoon when I came back from school, I used to have this horrible headache.
Okay. Shame.
It wasn't nice.
Oh, shame, my angel. And you know, guys, sometimes we can feel very sick. And the being sick is not in our control, but how we take care of ourselves is. So if we go lie down and we take care of ourselves and we make sure we've got water and that we're hydrated, that is in our control. But being sick isn't. So it does sometimes get a bit trickier to be happy. And being sick is probably one of the trickiest parts. But I've got another secret to tell you. Whenever I'm sick and I tell everybody I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I feel terrible, I'm sick, it doesn't make me feel any better. So when I'm sick, do you know what I do? I say to people, I'm already better. Because that changes my mind from feeling sick to already remembering that I'm soon going to feel better. And it helps me feel much better in my body. Isabella, do you want to say something, love? And then Amara.
Well, and my assistant to play pillow fight. My dad said we must go to bed. Just said play pillow fight for her and control her to play pillow fight. Can play pillow fight tomorrow, but you can't force her to play pillow fight.
Wait, Isabella, your signal is so bad. But I'm thinking what you said was when it's time to go to bed and you get to play pillow fights and they say you've got to go to bed. Is that correct?
Yes, we have to go to bed,
Okay.
but we can't be pillow fight.
Okay. So what is in your control in that moment, Angel, and what is not?
Are not in my control. I can't force her to play pillow fight, and in control, I have to listen to my dad and go to bed and listen to her.
Okay, good. So sometimes all that's in our control is how we respond. So your parents might say to you, clean your room, and you really don't feel like cleaning it. And right there, you can choose how you're going to feel by saying, okay, I'm going to get this done as quick as possible so that I can go play. So how you respond is always in your control. Okay, Amara, did you want to say something, Angel? Oh, okay. Right, guys, so today we've got a very, yes, Emma?
I finished my story about the Sunday one. So when she started feeling happy, I started feeling happy, and that's what made my day.
Okay, that's so cool. Well done. You sound like you're very in tune with your emotions, which is a very, very special quality. Okay, guys, so here's the thing. I've taught you today something that a lot of adults don't even know. Did you know that? Do you know how many times, and I still do it, and I used to always do it, something would happen and I would blame everything around me for how I felt. So I would say I'm in a really bad mood because the taxi driver cut me off. So now I'm blaming the taxi driver for my mood. And now I realize I'm so much more powerful than that. I'm so much more in control. If I can just remember that when I have a stressful feeling, a horrible feeling, it's the alarm clock saying, ask yourself, what can I control and what can't I control? And when you make the right choice and when you make a choice that makes you feel better, that feeling, horrible feeling, just goes away so quickly. Do you know that there's some people that get so grumpy about the weather? So they wake up in the morning and because it's a gloomy day and it's raining, they're grumpy. And when somebody says to them, why are you so grumpy? They go, because it's a miserable day. And then I'm going, what is in your control and what is not in your control? Can you control the weather? Can you control how you feel about the weather? You can say, oh, it's a rainy day today. I'm still going to have a good day. That's totally in your control. Or they blame the person who did something to them and they say, that's that person's fault, I'm in a bad mood. But it's never about the things that are happening around you. It's only about what's going on inside of you. So as long as inside you're remembering to check in and go, I'm feeling a stressful feeling. What is in my control? What isn't in my control? Make a choice. I'm telling you, you guys have got a gift that I wish I had when I was your age. So now, some of you are going to start with me on Monday. With every Monday for 4 weeks, we're going to start doing these lessons. And every week we speak about something different. And every week I give you a new thing to remember, a new picture, a new skill, a new thing to deal with. And some of you aren't going to, but I'm sure I'll see you again if I'm not going to do that. Is there anything? Oh, can somebody tell me what they learned today? Amara.
That sometimes you can't control everything around you,
Good.
but you can control what you are going to do about that thing that's happening around you.
Good girl. Well done. Can somebody tell me about that second you feel that horrible feeling? What is going on? I feel angry. I feel frustrated. I feel sad. All those horrible feelings. What do I want you to remember? Hannah.
What did you say?
I said, in that moment you feel that stressful feeling. I feel sad. Something's not right in my body. Something's happened and now I'm angry. Something's happened now I'm sad, frustrated, irritated. What do I want you to remember when that minute that happens?
You want us to remember that what's not in our control and what is in our control.
Good girl.
And
Okay, and well done. But just before you ask yourself what is not in my control and what is in my control, you're going to go, I'm feeling horrible. Alarm clock, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I've got a choice here. I've got a choice. I'm more powerful. So I put that alarm clock on the screen so that your brain can get it into your eyes. I made the sound with my mouth so that your ears could get it into your head. So I try to get all the ways for you to remember the alarm clock. And there's no alarm clock when you've got a good feeling going on. When you feel excited, there's absolutely nothing you need to be doing other than enjoying it. When you feel happy, there's nothing you need to be doing. That alarm clock is just to wake you up when you feel horrible and say, check in what is in your control and what isn't. Do you want to say something, Liba? No? Okay. Right, guys, is there anything else anybody wants to say before we finish off? We're coming to the end of the session. No? Okay, it was so lovely to have you, and I really hope that tomorrow when you go to school, if something happens, this lesson is going to come into your mind and you're going to go, I remember what to do. You're going to do it and you're going to go, wow, I can't believe how well that worked. Okay, and then I'll hear from your mommy soon if it's helping you. Yeah?
Could you call my dad? Like almost.
Okay. Okay, guys. So I'm going to say goodbye. You can wave goodbye to me and you can end the call. Thank you.
Mommy wants to talk to you.
Okay, I'll speak here. I'll wait on the call.
Candice, I just wanted to know if there's the